This bill just lets Maryland be aligned with the other 35 states that let our constituents have wine shipped to their house, like any other product.
What do you think the greatest opposition will be?
The vested special interests, the Licensed Beverage Association, who are afraid that this would cut into their sales at liquor stores. But of course, why would anybody have wine shipped to their house that you could buy at a corner store? You wouldn't, because you pay a premium. This is like when you go to a nice restaurant in Rockville or for a weekend in the Eastern Shore and you find a bottle of wine you really like. It's probably not available in Silver Spring or Tacoma Park, and in Maryland you can't have it be shipped to you. In D.C., Virginia, you can have it just shipped right to your house. So people join Wine of the Month clubs and other things like that. They have, our constituents that I've met have wine and beer shipped to their office in D.C. and just drink, bring it to Maryland. For their own consumption, and D.C. is getting the alcohol tax and the sales tax that should be going to Maryland.
How much alcohol tax do you think we can use?
They didn't predict it but I think millions of dollars. It's at least $90,000 just in licensing fees, plus, it's got to be millions in lost revenue. It doesn't take many consumers to be using a product before it's millions.
Now, these licensing fees, these would also apply to vintners who are out of state, operating out of state?
Yeah, legally you can't have a preference just for Maryland vineyards, but the Maryland vineyards are all for it, because right now, if you go out to Easton and buy a few bottles of wine, as soon as they run out, you have to go back to Easton to get more. You can't have them shipped to you by the Maryland vineyard, so they're the ones that are suffering.
Now it sounds like there may be some opposition because of the age thing. People are a little worried that they may ship wine to people under 21.
Like I said, 35 other states have it. I have testimony from them to the FTC, and it hasn't been a problem in other states because the boxes are all clearly labeled, can't be accepted by anyone under 21, and people over 21 have to sign for the box. I mean, if you think about it, all our elderly and disabled folks, they can have food, clothing, every consumer item you could think of shipped to their home until they want to buy a bottle of wine or a bottle of beer, and then they have to somehow get in a car, use something expensive like Metro Access to go out to a local store to find it, and they're likely not to find what they're looking for.
How would this benefit people in Silver Spring and Tacoma, and your constituents basically? How would this benefit?
Because they'd have more choices, simply. I've had a lot of complaints from people who, there's a bottle of wine they had, away on their anniversary or on a trip to the Eastern Shore or whatever, and they can't buy it in a local store in Silver Spring. There's thousands of labels of wine. It's unrealistic to expect them all to be sold in your corner store. Any other food product, you could have shipped to you. Specialty items, clothes, anything else. People use the internet and shipping to supplement all their purchasing decisions, but they don't have that option with wine and beer.
Does this cause undue hardship to wine vendors who are local?
It doesn't look like it does. There's not evidence in other states that it does. There's only evidence that this drives up prices and limits choices. It's sort of common sense. If you could buy something at Morris Miller on Georgia Avenue, why would you pay a premium and postage to have it shipped to you? You would just drive down the street and pick it up, right?